I went ahead and I made my own design, and I'm going to share with you how I made it so that if you have someone in your life who just had a baby and would like to be a little modest when they go out in public, then they can use this. Hi, I'm Tara Cross, and welcome back to Creating Joy. I've been over in Idaho for the last month taking care of my daughter who just had a new baby and just having lots of grandma time. So I asked my daughter what is something that she would like me to make for her. Since she has a sewing machine, we had little time, and she asked me to make her a cover-up or a nursing cover-up. So I went ahead and I made my own design, and I'm going to share with you how I made it so that if you have someone in your life who just had a baby and would like to be a little modest when they go out in public, then they can use this little cover up and at the same time see baby. That's the important thing. I have 7 children, and I use this with them as they were growing up, as I was nursing, so that I could look down and see the baby, but at the same time be a little bit modest out in public. So where I live in Missouri, we don't have a lot of stores to go to for fabric anymore because Joann Fabrics is closed. So we end up just going to Walmart, and our Walmart just got rid of all of their fabric by the bolt. So we just have the pre-cuts. So I went ahead and got one yard of pre-cut, and for this pattern you're going to need a half of it, but it's not half of a yard, it's a half of the length because you want the 44 inches wide. So that's why you do need the full yard, okay? Otherwise you're only going to get half of 36 inches, which isn't quite long enough to cover on the mom. So you want to cut it the opposite direction. It's actually where it's on the fold. You're going to be cutting that, and I'll show you in just a minute how I'm actually cutting it so you can get the full 44 inches. Take it and fold it in half, and we're going to cut off the selvage, just a skiff of it. We want to leave enough of our fabric so that we have enough for our cover-up. Okay, now we're going to cut 2.5 inches, and this is going to be for our strap. So now we're going to cut off 4 inches for one side of the strap. Okay, we'll take it, we're going to iron it. We're going to iron it in on both sides, and then we're going to iron the end, and then we're going to iron it all together and pin it. Now we're going to fold in 1/4 inch on all 3 sides, and then we'll come back and we'll iron those in and pin them on all 3 sides, and then sew around, and then we'll come back and we'll do the side where the boning goes. So I fold it over and then I pin it so I know how big I want it. And then I'll take my little measuring tool to measure how big that is and then measure it all the way across and iron it that side. And once I have it all ironed and folded for the width that I want it for my boning, I'm going to fold it in half, find the center, and put a pin straight down in the center so that I know where I want it to be. And then I'm going to measure out. Okay, so I'm going to measure 9 inches on both sides, and I'm going to put a pin on both sides. And I'm going to sew from one end, from the end to the 9 inches on both sides. And then I'm going to leave just on one side, I'm going to leave a little opening probably about half an inch, maybe an inch wide, right there. So I can sew all the way, I can actually sew all the way down, but right here by my pin, where my 9 inches is, I need to leave an opening so I can put the boning in. And then where the 9 inches is on the other side, right here, I'm going to sew back and forth about 3 times, maybe 4 times, so that when I push the boning in, it will stop right there. Now you're ready to sew on your small little piece. You're going to face it so it's up, and you're going to sew around in a square and then go diagonal and over and diagonal. And then you're going to take this piece, your long one, so you'll have the point, put that away, and then we're doing it right next to the lines that we made. So we're going to come over here to where this line is, and we're going to pin it on right next to here. We're going to sew it around in a square and then an X.